All right, I'm going to ask you real quickly, just stand up, tell us who you are and what you do, real quick.
Hello everybody, my name is Ernest. I moved recently from Miami, and I have a small business we call wrapping everything in vinyl for your car, your window, your business, and I am the designer. And sorry for my English, I'm working on that.
No, absolutely.
This is my first day, so I'm working.
Excellent.
It's a pleasure, everybody. I have a class, I'm happy for integrate of our community of here on Daytona. So if anybody need help, it's not everything is money. So I'm happy for help. If you need something, I'm happy for do it.
Awesome. Great.
All right, welcome to Daytona. And by the way, we only drive 80 on the highway, not 110. Come on up. If you know, you know. Who else? First timer. Real quick.
First timer. My name is Mike Warren. I work in wealth management. Actually, our niche is, funny enough, business owners and entrepreneurs. So we do custom portfolio management, succession planning, and many other tax plans. So,
All right, he makes your wallet thicker. Who else? All right, that's it. Good. Welcome. We're Daytona Beach 1 Million Cups. We get to come to you here at this beautiful venue. This is Daytona Cinematique. They have events going on all throughout the month. There's calendars on the tables. Please share them out if you ever want a cool night out. There's always something good going on here. They're doing a little remodeling in the back here, adding some nice cabinet space. And so we appreciate them allowing us to be here, but we can't be here without Volusia Economic Development. And Brad Harris is here visiting us today. So thank you for your financial support. So we can be here every week. And all throughout the country, the Kauffman Foundation has got this opportunity for entrepreneurs to share their story, their challenges. And that's what we're going to have here today. But before we get there, we got some announcements to make, and there's so many, I had to have them written down. On November 22nd, is that correct?
November 12th.
November 12th, we're celebrating 11 years. So that's going to be a little lengthy one, it's about 2 hours. We're going to feed you. A little Aero Clinical Trials is going to be sponsoring the breakfast, so we'll have a little food for you. But that ought to be a really cool event. We have 2 guest speakers that are going to come share their stories.
Jen Rogers.
One's in the room today, Jen Rogers, so that's going to be a really nice day. We also have on October 22nd, our town hall. We won't have a speaker, we just all speak. So we open up the mic to everyone in the room sharing ideas, and we'll have a facilitator for that. And the 23rd, October 23rd, we have our business after hours. Have we decided where that's going to be? Your house?
Yeah, not yet.
Charles' house? No, not yet.
Not
All right, so we got some cool, my house. All right. There's a funny story about that. I'll be ready. Okay, I'm just going to say it. My daughter is pregnant. I'm going to be a grandfather.
Oh, yeah.
Our baby shower is October 2nd at my house. We're about 60, so you guys are nothing. We can handle you. All right. Without further ado, I want to introduce our speaker. He has been making the 1 Million Cups tour. His name is Phil, and he's going to share his information about LifeLog. So let's give him a nice warm welcome. Thank you.
Well, this is great. You guys have a nice facility here.
We're the
I've
best.
been touring. I'm really impressed. There are some very hardcore programmers in here, so it's very intimidating, but I think it's very encouraging because there's some great feedback at the same time. So again, my name is Phil. My company is called Smart Cities, and I produce apps that use AI and blockchain. And the product I'm showcasing today is called LifeLog, and this is a journaling app that I hold out to be healthcare diet related, but it's not limited to that. So what you do is you speak in throughout the day into your device your activities, such as what you ate, did you exercise, how you feel, what your mood is, what your aches and pains are. But not just limited to that, it could be anything else to say that you want to track. And what the app will do is it saves this. First, it summarizes what you say, and it categorizes it and saves it to your device. And the purpose of that is so that you can subsequently ask questions of AI with a lot more context. So I first developed it because I saw a need, possibly a pain point. A lot of you are AI enthusiasts, and I found that AI did not have the memory. It was frustrating. I had to keep resetting up the question. I know that's improved a lot, and some are better than others, but this acts as like a convenience app so that you can then subsequently inject into your favorite AI app, ChatGPT, Grok, say 6 months worth of diet information. So you might ask a question subsequently of AI, how can I lose weight? Or how can I lower my cholesterol? Or what should I tell my doctor on my visit here in the next hour? And then it will inject that off to what the app will do is it will determine what categories of data. So when the data was saved, it summarized it and it categorized it. And the app will determine, which you can change, it'll determine what categories are relevant to that question, and it'll package up just that data and into a text file and inject that into your AI app, whatever you're using, ChatGPT, Grok. Yeah. So, and again, I felt like that the advantage there is that I didn't want to save data. It helps you so you don't want to save that kind of data, that much data into any one of the GPTs. And so that's kind of a description of the app. I want to describe where I'm at right now. I have a very bare bones MVP, and I've been in a real rush to get to market, so it is bare bones. So my first objective and key result is just to do a market interest study, which I'm in the middle of right now. So the objective there is to do just a cheap market, or a cheap ad campaign, which I've done, and to get early metrics to help me measure that I can use that are actionable. And so describing the MVP a little further, I've completely stripped off all the cloud access to it. It's just 100% local. All the user data is saved to the device. And I've made the app completely free, so there's no onboarding, no login, anything like that. And I've split my initiative up into 2 cohorts. The first one I call, which I'm in right now, called the Android cohort, so second month being iPhone. And my budget is just $5 a day. And that requires me, that buys a surprising number of impressions and clicks, but to get that budget, I have had to go outside the United States. So that brought me to my first metric that I'm trying to measure, and I call that the smoke test. And basically, I just wanted to know, was anybody even interested in this concept, this app at all? So the metrics that I used in the smoke test to answer the question were the click-through rate, which is, of course, of all the impressions that are put out there, the number of clicks I get, and then the conversion rate is out the clicks I got, how many people actually installed it. So I received it impressively. After even running the ad for 2 weeks, I'm running a Google app campaign. With about, I think it was around 30,000 clicks, I received about 20% click-through rate, which I was really hoping just to get 1%, but that was a phenomenal amount. And then from there, I was able to get a 5% actually install rate. Now, of course, this is just testing my ad. At that point, people haven't used the app to see whether they like it or not. But regardless, it was encouraging because it told me that at least somebody is interested in the concept. I think that's kind of the current state, that people are interested in AI-type consumption apps. And the also the encouraging thing is this gave me a very cheap install rate. So the cost to acquire a customer albeit overseas, wasn't expensive. So that leads me, so we get the video going, to the last part here at 1 Million Cups We Do, is the Ask and Challenge. So I'm using 1 Million Cups as my qualitative kind of environment test. I do my quantitative tests, obviously, with my ad campaigns, but I like to get the impression from the group on things like your overall impression of the app, whether you think you would use it, and what features you think would be useful. And when I do that, I'm looking for close-in things. I plan to make the app a lot more robust, but I'm always thinking about things close in I can do to bolster engagement. Now, one last thing I did not mention was I'm installing better software into it to be able to measure the engagement of the customer. So with the next cohorts, I hope to get more feedback on that. So that's in a nutshell. I appreciate everybody listening, and I'm looking forward to your questions. Trying to stay out of the
light, out of the spotlight. You can't do that here. So for those of you who are new, I'm Tom Jordan, one of the organizers. I don't know, did you introduce Val and Charlie and
No, I
Sean and who else is here? That's it today. So here's how we work today. We have a presentation. He's got an idea, he's got some plans, and we're looking for feedback. So if you want to, you have an idea, you have a comment, if you're in the industry, if you can give them any suggestions, advice, whatever you want to ask, raise your hand and I'll try to come around and we'll do the question. First thing I really want to quickly ask, you're very early on here, right? This is
correct.
How long have you been working on this and having a product available online for people to download?
It's difficult to say. Probably the MVP was, well, I started on 8 months ago. Probably, yeah, about 8 months.
Okay, so real early. Just want to make sure everybody knew that. So I'm going to walk around, raise your hand. You can ask questions, ideas, comments.
Good morning, my name is Diego Handel, yes, LLC. So the question I have is, obviously, you saw a niche in the market. Do you have any identifiable competitors that are out there right now?
Well, I've tried to find that. I don't see anything that apps that resembles my app. People usually liken it to MyFitnessPal, etc. There's so many apps in the market. It would be naive for me to think that I'm unique. I'm sure there is, or that there will be. I think that the trend is to design AI consumption apps, but I have not been able to identify one that does specifically what I do. And I kind of want to add one more thing that I forgot to mention is that the app is designed to somehow service a free market. So where there is a paid version, I found that in the AI state it is now that injecting your data off with an API is very expensive. So this is designed to be able to have a free, for it to be tenable, to be a free app to ship it off to ChatGPT or whatever and still be able to maintain free. But I'm sorry, to answer your question, no, I haven't been able to identify anything. If you know, have you been able to identify something like that?
I don't. I don't know of any. I also haven't researched it, so I don't know.
Has anybody been able to identify a similar app? No, okay. Yeah, and there will be, and I'm certain there is. It's a very big community.
So I'm Nick Stockhammer, a financial advisor with Stifel. I guess the question I have is, what problem are you trying to solve? And is this there's a lot of logging apps, like you said. I'm not sure that many of them have AI incorporated yet, but I'm sure it's coming. Is this supposed to kind of consolidate all of those other logging apps like MyFitnessPal, MapMyRun, all those different things into one? Or is it its own thing? Like, are you going to be able to pull data and look at graphs of your runs or your food or your calories What's the final goal of this app?
Right. Well, in its current MVP state, I describe it as a convenience app. You can accomplish the same thing this is doing if you pulled out an Excel spreadsheet, wrote down your activities, and put a category next to it, filtered what you wanted to filter, and sent it off to ChatGPT as an attachment. And that was done to get something on the Play Store and the App Store to be able to gauge interest. And I think standing alone, that would be worthwhile to a free user to, which it does have ads on it, banner ads. But so in itself, it's not supposed to compete with MyFitnessPal. It's supposed to be specifically a journaling app. But on the horizon, what I want to do with it is incorporate it into more of a social media type app. If anybody is familiar with Manect, anybody out there familiar with Manect?
What?
Manect, or the value statement. So what I would like to do with it is, and I'd like for everything to happen all at once, but it takes time. And that's to be able to share your data with third parties, either free or for a fee, and to be able to get coaches on your subject, such as say a dietitian that lives in Vietnam, to coach you on your, so they then would have access to your data for a limited amount of time of tokens to be able to advise you. So that's kind of a long-term view I see it.
Have you thought about it being just a general journaling app where AI then reads it and kind of can tell you your mental state based on what you've written? Like it dings you to,
That's a good idea.
dings you to do it in the morning, do it in the evening, and then it tells you what your mood looks like, or maybe how your mood is changing.
That's a great idea and great suggestion. You know, I do have a family member who suffers from bipolarism, and I kind of thought that for her that it would gauge her moods each day, but you know, it's what you want to do with it. There's more applications of it than I can identify, but that's a very good point. Thank you.
Gotcha. Yeah. Thank you.
I just wanted to remind me that I should have eaten those 6 donuts last week. That's a dumb one.
Yeah, the AI would then ding you, hey, you had 6 donuts last week, when you come back. Yeah. Without you then no one would want to help you.
Then no one would want the app to do that.
I just wanted to comment, about mood. You might want to tie it to blood sugar.
Yeah.
Blood sugar. But my primary question, Catherine Neal, Guy Relax, is what sort of architecture is this built on? Are you using an app builder to make this? Are you building it in raw code or Python or Ruby, or what are you, how flexible is this architecture?
Great question. I don't want to open a Pandora's box because I know that the programmers in the room will take this one out of it. That's why we're so popular at parties. But to answer your question, sure, it's built with React Native. The website is built with React, and I don't use any Python in this particular app, but I use a managed workflow called Expo, and that is able to compile both iOS and Android for me. And then the limited website credit is of course that React also. So that's my platform.
Hi, I'm Natalia with Physics Accounting. This is really impressive. I really like it.
Thank you.
And I can see a lot of people would be interested in, using this for their daily routine. I myself, I use ChatGPT pretty much every day. I do. And, there's, if you ever go to, I'm sure you do, there's there's some psychological, like therapist type of app in there, built in ChatGPT. It's called Coach Robin or something like that. And it will tell you, you know, the routine, they can, you know, like I'm feeling like, okay, I'm feeling depressed today. What should I do? And then it will like spit out like, you know, a quick routines or whatever, you know, eat some blueberries or something like that. I mean, I don't know, I'm just saying that. But my question is, how are you how do you monetize this if it's free?
Well, the MVP is free. It has AdMob on it, which is limited revenue that it renders both banner ads that you see at the bottom now, not on the screen, that's the iPhone, but it renders banner ads along the bottom, and it also has what are called interstitial ads, which are full page ads, and this generates a limited amount of revenue. I also use that interestingly, and what I'm transitioning from, I was using it for my engagement measuring. So if the ads were firing, it was telling me the degree of engagement I had. And that didn't quite provide the information. But to answer your question, which is a great question, it limited the MVP, makes money from the advertising. And then I have an app purchase that allows you to get a premium version that's not in the MVP. $10 to be able to go without ads, and then a $30 version is going to allow cloud saving and then more interaction, more services to be able to interface with the web and then to other individuals to share your data.
Is those ad will be like local for the area of the user, or is like more?
Well,
this reach everywhere, all over the world, right? I mean, with this app.
Did you say app or ad?
App.
Ad?
Yeah.
Well, I don't control the ads. That's with Google. Google has a service called AdSense and AdMob. So they use their marketing to determine who renders on my page. I can slightly control that, but I don't go out and solicit people to advertise on the app. It's a great question. Thank you.
Hey Phil, Valerie, event organizer. So, what features would you like to see? So I see this as more like a digital diary, and it's really a big thing for a lot of people. And what do you think about automation? Is that something that your lifelog can do for somebody? And I'll give you an example. Right now, iPhone can do tons of automation using a third-party NFC tag. Whereas they can just click this NFC tag, we can buy those off of Amazon. It's size of a quarter coin, and they would click that NFC tag, and it would automate that on the phone right now, and it can do tasks. Is this something that you would see? Because that's something that iPhone can do a lot of things right now, and if you can hone in maybe a niche automation in your app that could be more useful, more than just logging, diary, making a diary of something. So just think about that for a minute.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on that?
Great suggestion. It sounds like you're describing an agent, which those are great ideas. Whether I can achieve that kind of depends on time. But that's a great suggestion. And I thought you were going to say my wife wanted me to design, and I think it would actually be an interesting thing. She wanted to have a wardrobe thing that gave her fashion advice and told her, what she would take pictures and tell her what she was wearing, and be able to tell her what to wear for that day. And it actually, when you think about marketability, it sounds like a really great idea. Maybe not so much my interests, but it was to her, and so it was
Well,
persuasive.
If you've integrated the GPT format on your
app, it should be able to do that.
Right.
There's absolutely no, and one can, it should be able to do all of those tasks because it's AI.
Right.
Yeah, because
Right.
we've been doing that on ChatGPT right now, on the GPT-4. You can
Yeah.
upload
Yeah.
your stuff and I can just ask, hey, I can ask the GPT, hey, can you make a suggestion on my outfit? So it's not necessarily all that fashion thing, but it's AI. I mean,
Right. But I will say I want to have something that's separate from any one platform. So again, you could load all this data onto ChatGPT and then say, well, I'd like to get a second opinion from Grok. So you don't want to have to consider having the data on both platforms. So I like the independence of having it stored off here on your device or on your cloud that you control and to be able to inject it into your preferred model. Yeah, great question, thanks.
Hey, Sean with Arrow Clinical Trials. So I went ahead and scanned a QR code. I uploaded the test flight. I went ahead and I've got Ask Janet on there. I've given it some information and what I had for breakfast, what I did this morning, that I'm sitting here a million cups drinking my coffee, listening to your presentation, all that stuff.
Right.
What do you do then? What's the next step? I don't, is it that early on that there's nothing I can do but click back to LifeLog 42 and then it just tells me this is a test? Is that how far along you are right now?
No, it senses when you're asking a question or not by virtue of what words you have in there. So you say, how, with the word HOW,
Uh-huh.
can I lose weight?
Okay.
Then it will turn blue and it'll be an ask mode, and then it will allow you to ship that off to and you may require a little more setup. There should be some default categories in there, and you should be able to ship that off to ChatGPT or to a text file or to an email. But it depends on what apps you have set up on your phone.
Okay, so I went ahead and did that, and it's question, it just, maybe we can talk afterwards. I'll show you what it's doing so you can make adjustments or
Okay,
whatever.
great.
Yeah, good. It's a cool idea. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Jeff Murphy. I just had a couple questions and feedback. From my understanding, this app is more of just so basically you're compiling data that you're going to feed into ChatGPT. It's not necessarily to make it an automated system. It's that you're creating a database due to the fact that a little bit of feedback. They just did a big update on GPT 5.0. Since then, it lost a lot of its long-term data. So if you're working on a larger project, you can't pump that into GPT. It's gonna start varying and pulling stuff off the internet. So essentially, important. And then it can make decisions based off of that for however long it remembers it. Is this just for health purposes, or can this be actually, or is your long-term goal to actually integrate this into, I know you said social media, but also like other projects, so you can like compile a database?
Well, these guys kind of limit on that, and that's the great thing about talking about 1 million Cubs crowds. Everybody's so creative and forward-thinking, and long-term thinking. But what you're describing is probably a little bit further off than the MVP. I have some big ideas like that for it to do it, but probably a little bit further off. And I think it's important that you get great feedback qualitatively from crowds like this. It's fantastic. Guidance, if you're familiar with the lean startup principles, the guidance that I try to navigate by, or I would seek to test things like that with 404 testing or something like that to see if there would be any interest in that before I would go to that endeavor. But that's a great suggestion. You are right. I wasn't aware of that about the downloading. I thought GPT was actually improving quite a bit.
Yeah, with the last update, OpenAI decided that it was more of a product that people like to ask quick, fast questions to. So like, draft me an email, or make a photo of my dog riding a tricycle. People kind of like it for more trick and gimmick things. And long-term project, they scrapped the fact that it could pull a lot of data. this occurred about beginning of August.
Wow.
So it's not running the same way it was
Interesting.
with fire.
You know, I take, say, my lipid test, my cholesterol test, I cut and paste and drop it in here. And so I think that there's data, and I need to be careful about this from a HIPAA standpoint, but I think there's data in there that maybe you would not want stored in the GPTs, not that it's not available to it once you inject and ask the question anyways. But for myself, I think for most people, they may be more comfortable having a little more control over that structured data, personal type data. So, yeah, I think that's but great point. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Nick Anderson. I'm a software developer with business systems analyst. I'm just curious if you are thinking about adding, like, integrating other APIs, because I know, like, for instance, my scale, I can integrate that into things as well as blood pressure. I think some of the other blood sugar monitors and stuff like that have APIs and stuff that can integrate and keep some of those records on here as well. Also, I don't know about like token size, etc. Like you're using this almost in a way like a personal agent. If you are, for instance, I'm assuming here that you are either cutting and pasting into your LLM, or is it automatically, or do you have a button that actually sends it itself to the LLM, or?
Well, great question. Are you from the Google platform developer group?
No.
No, you would look at later. Well, at the MVP stage right now, it just, you have to manually inject it. And again, as I mentioned, I found the real, and if anybody in the room has a solution to this, I've asked some fairly heavy people in the industry, that it's just very expensive for an app, and I know they're out there, to inject, to use an API or an SDK to send data off. I found that it was costing more in testing to do that than I thought I could ever collect on a free app at least. So right now you do have to suffer that manual, ask your question, it produces the file, and then click send into ChatGPT, and then at that point, you're completely exiting my app, which is concerning for me, because the whole, when you're doing advertising, the whole name of the game is to keep people on the platform. But to not have that API, that large token cost, it injects or it sends off as an attachment to ChatGPT, Grok, Gemini, whatever it is we're using. Does that answer your question? Or?
Yeah, that does. But if you have something that pre-processes those before it sends off to keep that token amount smaller, I think that'd be helpful, as well as if you have something like if you have like an LLM, I think under, I don't know if it would be app service or something on Azure or whatever. Of course, you have the cost and stuff from using all those tokens, but your subscription should take care of that. I think my company, I think we have Copilot set up on flat rate. I'm not quite sure what the rates are for like, smaller side. I'm not sure flat rate is incredibly expensive, but I think that'd be worth looking into. Right. Probably. I'm sure you have, but
that's a good point. I again, when you first create these, you're really ambitious, like these great things, and you realize the uphill the task you put yourself into. So I did start to create one in TensorFlow, and I thought that would be an alternative to the consumption. But I think what I find is kind of putting this question to group. When I looked at creating my own model in TensorFlow, it was two things. It was, of course, the task of doing it, and wanted to get, I'm in a real rush to market to get some initial, to get the initial feedback, which you should do. You should say, hey, is anybody interested before I write this thing? Because in my life, I've done this with you guys. Plenty of times I've written stuff thinking, I'll build it, and they will come, and it shows up. So, to answer your question, I think also too, my thing about creating my own model with say TensorFlow was I didn't think I'd ever get it to the level of say ChatGPT or something, and these are questions that whereas I would use it, and I plan to do this in the future, use it to help summarize the data to make the shipping off more compact, as you say, to ChatGPTs. I don't think I can get the power writing my own model that was required to answer these type of questions.
Yeah, so I think maybe I didn't clarify enough. Not necessarily having your own model, but having your own, let's say, app service that takes the API and then sends that to ChatGPT, so or whatever that you use. So everything that you send out goes through your particular piece, and then what you're being charged for that goes into the subscription cost. I think you should be able to come out positive on that. Not everybody's going to send out enough, data to create a huge cost, or some that are, large users are going to of course cost more. But I'm not sure we have to run those.
No, that's a great point, and that's something I'm wrestling with, trying to figure out. But yeah, token costs are expensive though, and it adds up. How they'll handle that in the future, if they'll have a fixed price for apps like mine, I don't know, but that's one problem I'm trying to solve. I appreciate your advice.
Back here.
So I arrived a little late. I am a first timer here. I'm a local veteran employment representative with Career Source. So I wanted to come in and check this out. Very impressed with this, by the way. One of my questions is, one, what is your principal target demographic and goals for where that heads moving forward in expansion? Because obviously the more demographics you can reach, the more income you can generate and the more successful you be. But what is your principal demographic target right now?
Well, I've set out to figure that out, but I keep coming back to just general public. When I have these talks, I've had suggestions that I target elderly centers, special needs centers, but I haven't quite figured out, and perhaps you have a solution to this, with an app campaign, maybe with an ad campaign, with an app campaign to quite be that granular, so I more have to carpet bomb.
So, well, with the flexibility you see utilizing AI, which I think everyone agrees, it's unlimited. You have no limitation on what you can create. But as a parent, my first idea for this is kids don't journal anymore. They don't write their diaries. They don't do the things we do as kids. A journaling app for children to establish and assist with principal tasks like time management. Things, not everyone is going to have the health or diet concern, especially in youth. They don't care at that point. But having a feature where you're able to enter in and ask Janet and tell her what you did today. I couldn't finish my homework. I couldn't get this done. I didn't have time to do this. How can that help train in time management from a youth, or challenges in college, challenges with economic? Asking those questions and tracking them day to day in this much detail, I think is a great possibility to be able to assist in another realm outside your principal goal that wouldn't be that difficult to integrate. One of the first things you said was this could actually be used for pretty much anything.
Right.
And my first idea was, I got a pain in the butt 18-year-old right now who can't do anything on their own. This could assist with that.
It's a good idea.
With a great data set.
Yeah, that's a great suggestion, and it's not so much my app, it's just AI in general. There are just elemental connotations that you can use it for. So, but that's a great suggestion. I kind of use it too, beyond just saying, well, here's what I ate today. I say, well, here's how my day went today, and the kids came over to visit, et cetera, et cetera. And someone had mentioned something, and I think this app is already out there. Someone mentioned in one of the other presentations that she wanted to be able to speak into it for 6 months a year and then have it tell her life story or her year story or year and more. Yeah, that ChatGPT would do that. Not my app, but it would have that the ChatGPT would have the raw data to be able to speak that back to her over some meetings. So, yeah, that's a great suggestion. Thank you very much.
How you doing? My name is Matt. I'm a co-founder of Gone Demolition and Junk Removal. So it sounds like to me, what you're saying is kind of you're open to what the possibilities in the future where this could do. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, so how I almost see it is this has the potential eventually to almost be like a Jarvis with Iron Man, let's say, right? You speak into it, hey Janet, here's all my information, and it creates a data set off of your life and what you do on a daily basis. So, you know, eventually you can go anywhere from health, hey, I want to lose 5 pounds, I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle, I want to get more healthy, I want to get blood sugar down, I want to this and that. It can just spit out everything based off all the information you put into it over the course of however much time they did it. Now, obviously, with the gentleman who actually knows the tech stuff, and you too, I mean, it sounds like right now that'd be kind of hard to do. That's a lot of data in it. I would almost suggest, from what I could kind of see, is zone in on something specific, one thing, whether it be health and fitness, which you kind of have up there on the thing. It's showing it, hey, I want to lose 5 pounds, I want to do this. So it just takes that data set of what you do on a daily basis between diet, exercise, and it puts it in there and helps you with that. And then you can have another section where it does your daily scheduling, how do I get more sleep, how do I get less stress. But eventually, it almost sounds like this is a possibility to where, you know, like, I know I'm not a professional in AI, but I use it quite a bit, and it's like you almost can train it, you know, so if you get a specific person putting their specific stuff in there, you could basically eventually train that AI to know everything about you and help you out with all your stuff. So eventually, like I said, it could be anywhere from, hey, here's my mood today, I got these meetings, what should I wear? And they could tell you what you want to wear, or hey, I got a marathon I need to run in 6 months, what's the best way to train for it? They could really eventually do everything, but it sounds like with the amount of data and realistically to scale this to where you need to go, you almost need to zone in on something that would be one specific category, and then once you get a specific category, you can really expand. And you know, the Platinum Plus one where you get the health and fitness, the personal assistant, and you know, the whole shebang, and it could be different, the money per month that would cover the cost of all that data that you're going to switch over to the AI.
That's a good point. Would you, and that's been a concern that it's too broad and overwhelms the consumer. Would you use, there's something in Mark called a split test, where you take various applications. This is a healthcare app, this is a tax app, this is some other subject, and so I thought to do that with later cohorts where I'm more marketing to a specific function, like you described, and see, again, the first thing for me is it doesn't matter what the app is, if no one clicks on the ad, you know, so if I have something that nobody's interested in and they don't click, then it stops there. So would you recommend doing like a split test where I've got 10 different ad campaigns going to, I mean, there's so many people consuming apps, I won't hit the same person twice. Unlikely. But is that what you're suggesting?
So what I'm suggesting is, so I would zero in on one specific thing. Let's say health and fitness right now, make America healthy again, whatever, like, say something like that, just an example sake, is really popular, right? So you zone in and say, you know, this is the Janet, you know, healthy Janet app, whatever. So you go on that, so then all the information they put in is going to be like, hey, I went to bed this time, I woke up at this time, I did this for workout, I did this, I ate that, and it puts in just those data sets for health and fitness, and in that way you could go, hey, my blood sugar is high, what recommendations do you have, right? So then you just got your health and fitness stuff. And then you could also do one per personal assistant. I want to manage my time better. So then eventually, once AI gets better and better and better, and you're able to get all those data sets, and it's more cost effective for you, in the meantime, you could still be successful and get a following on something, and then you could have Janet Ultimate come out that encompasses everything, and then you got your own digital personal assistant that you could ask it anything. Hey, how do I be happy all the time? You know, oh, drink more tea, you know, whatever. Hey, how do I lose weight? What's the best way to, I mean, limitless, really, eventually, once technology and you're able to, it makes sense cost-effective wise to still make money on it. But if you do come out with a couple of different, you know, health and fitness, mental health, this, that, this, you zero in on one or two or three of those things, test out which one you like better, and in the meantime, you can still make money and As you get bigger and bigger and bigger, then I feel like the technology and being able to easily move over that data will probably be there. And then you're way ahead of the game, and now you've got your own personal assistant that does everything for you.
That's good advice. Thank you. Yeah, I think that's a good way to go, is test out a few different permutations and see what's interest. Yeah, thank you. My wife and I do a lot of real estate, so no stranger to junk removal. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
There you go. We got a customer.
I've had plenty of them in my life. So
Hey, everybody, great feedback. Let's give them a round of applause here. Great feedback, great ideas. Hey, we're going to bring up the lights here, finish up. If you want to come up to the stage, we do a family photo. Everybody come on up. We can share and show how many folks were here at 1MC Daytona today.